Hey, Blue Table fans, Relaxo Dad here. I hope that doesn't turn into something on the Urban Dictionary later that it's like, like zaddy. I mean, I learned so much from the young people. All right, so here it comes. New topics. I went on my Facebook thing, and you can be my Facebook friend. The link is down below. That's kind of how I keep in touch with everybody. So much for privacy. And I put the family stuff up there too. You know, oh well. It's all going to be scraped for AI soon anyway. And there will be things just based off of me and my motions and whatever. That's all going to happen. And basically, not much I can do about it. Okay, and then later, hyper intelligences or advanced humans are going to have full simulated lives based on these old people at the beginning before the AI singularity. All right, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Molnar Paul says, topic for a ramble, a divisive tinfoil hat topic, an exposure topic, a real world versus delusion topic. I could give you a lot. Some base topics for each category. I'm just going to read the top one. 9/11 was an inside job. Government wants what's best for you. Yeah, guys, I have opinions about these, but there's not a lot of energy to them. Because as I've explained in a previous video, in 2012, I believe it is, my mind just exploded. And I realized I really had a choice. I could either worry about, think about, get involved with these things, or I could just go live my life. And I was at a point where I was consuming so much politics. It was driving me mad, really. And it was making me quite unpleasant to be around because I wanted to talk about it and I had opinions about it. So now it's quite the opposite. I don't want to hear anything about it. I just, like on my Facebook thing, people that are like all worked up about it, they just get snoozed or blocked or even unfriended sometimes. Sorry, but it's just like, I don't need those ulcers in my life. Thanks, but no thanks. So I'm going to have to take a pass on this topic. Yeah, and just to say, even if I told you what I thought about all this, it would be unreliable information. In 2012, for the presidential election, is that right? Yeah, that's right. I read 3 whole books for left, right, independent. And it was over 1,200 pages of reading. And I really read it and took notes and make an informed decision, Sean. No, none of that matters. You're going to wade in the river. You're going to take your tiny little spoon. You're going to flick it like this, maybe with a lot of energy. And then the river just reforms. So I don't know. Better men than I will have different solutions, and I leave it to the energy of the young people to get it sorted out. And I think they're going to do it in imaginative and effective ways that people just aren't expecting it. All right. Perhaps thoughts on the rise and fall of the popularity of War Machine and Hordes, and what you think about Mark 6. I guess you mean Mark 4. Wet my whistle. Hey, oh, you going downstairs? You can come by, just as long as your phone is off, hon. Okay. Yeah, my 6-year-old daughter has a phone, but it's not connected to anything. She can just watch YouTube on it, which is plenty. When we gotta really keep. Okay, go in the other room with that. Yeah, she's going. All right. Perhaps thoughts on the rise and fall of War Machine. All right. Well, I don't know much about it, but I know more than the average person. So War Machine and Hordes, I think they came out and they rode kind of a wave as an alternative to Games Workshop. And I wish they were doing better right now. And from where I'm standing, I'll just bet you behind the scenes, because it was a private company, there were a lot of arguments. Once real money starts becoming involved, oh man, bets and friendships are off. And so that's what I sort of, the feeling I get is they ran into trouble. You can get companies like in the late 90s, Chronopia by Target Games was kind of an alternative that was coming out. And their technology was right about with Games Workshop. They were casting metal figures. And their game was very imaginative, color codexes, which Games Workshop wasn't doing. And I thought it was a better product. And I actually dropped Warhammer and started just hammering Chronopia. But guess what? They got too big for their britches. They got involved in too many side projects. And they tanked. And so, you know, the one trait a company or really anything can have is survival. Just surviving. And that's something I can say for Blue Table Painting is I've survived many, many crashes and just kept plugging away and getting those projects done, and with stick-to-itiveness and just getting my head down and grinding it. So with War Machine and Hordes, I think they're going to come back. I think they are going to just do better and better. But they couldn't quite get that technology there. However, I think with 3D printing, they could really twist it in their favor. They could become... I think the new model is going to be that they'll release STLs. So when they release an army, they'll have a bunch of subscribers, many, many thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of them. And that's how that money will come in. And they could make a service where they did quality prints to order. And because the old model is just it's gonna become too cumbersome. And that's a problem that these game companies and ranges, even within Games Workshop, even though Games Workshop lasts a really long time, internally they keep having to, they have the cycles with their own games, that there's model glut. That it's too many models for an independent retailer to carry, and you know, and then everybody's bought everything. You have most models going, I'd say at least 80% of models never end up getting painted. Probably 50% never end up even getting assembled. They just get purchased. E.g., the pile of shame. And so game companies, to survive that, they got to just have the new hotness, and just keep it going. And it's a toughie. So when people complain about Games Workshop, I'm like, yeah, but you didn't support the alternatives, did you? And it gets back to a deeper issue, which is the awfulness that exists inside of humans as a general population. That it's easier to complain about something than to actually go out and create and do something. And so I think, from my view, I see it that there's like a psychology behind it. It's like, I don't even know what I would call it. I'd say like someone feels like they're participating when they go in and they just crap all over everything. Like they're out there taking a dump on the field, and they're like, I'm participating. And it's like, well, actually you're not helping at all. But, you know, thanks to comments, everyone can just go and complain about things. I see it with a lot of my role-playing groups, where it's just post after post, it's complaining about the complaints. And I'm just like, why don't you just actually do something? And you know, I want to plug something that I'm doing, because I am the person that's doing something. First off, I'm making these videos. Second, I have this company that's coming up on 20 years and still going at it. And then third, I'm creating a role-playing system / miniatures game, and it's good. It's really good, and I'm producing for it. And I have a blog. Yeah, oh, you got a blog. I have a blog. I'll get that in the liner notes, called OPDM. It's Overpowered Dungeon Master, and which is sort of in my inner circles. That's what I'm famous for. And I love it. So right now it just has like 8 blog posts about these incredible creatures and foes that I have for my 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game. But I'm also going to post things about Elans there, which is my Dungeons and Dragons offshoot that is for the super crunchy player. So not going back to old school rules, but also not following the path of oversimplification to get new players that Dungeons and Dragons and other games have had. And certainly not like like Kickstarters. People that, oh, this is a great setting, blah blah blah, and here's some art, and let's do this Kickstarter, and they get like 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, and I'm just like, and then I get the books, and I'm like, this is complete. It's just a rehash that's uninspired, with quite frankly not very much new art in it, and so the thing I'm doing, yeah, it's better. At first I did it just to do it, and because I challenged myself to do it, and I thought my own circle of family and friends would enjoy it. But now that I've done it, I'm looking at my player handbook that's, by the way, 400 pages. And it's not 400 pages of nothing. Like all of those, every single page adds something to that game. And it's just an alpha at this point, but man, it is a good alpha. And I'm looking at it as this 40-year strong dungeon master, been doing all sorts of role-playing games, and I'm like, my system's inspired. It's so good, and the setting is good, and it's great, and I really believe in it. But the fact is, I don't see like money being a part of it, but that's okay. I don't need that. Because I literally, right now that I know how to do it and I'm on a roll and everything's kind of clicked together, I can produce one of those books every year. And I don't see myself stopping because I love to do it. I'll be up till 2 a.m. just typing. My wife will come in and be like, working on your book? I'm like, yeah, I'm working on the second and third books, actually. And she's like, oh, no, because I take so much time. I'm about to run out of juice on my battery, by the way. So let's see if I can figure this. Oh, there's only one more. Oh, same guy, Grant H. Perhaps just your thoughts on GW's smaller skirmish games like Kill Team, Underworlds, and Warcry. First off, Underworlds is different in that list. It's more of a board game. They designed it to be like a very fair, reasoned tournament competitive game. And I played it, loved it, painted up all the figures. I actually had a whole set of every single figure because I'm a bit of a completionist. But frankly, because of the magic card thing, do you want to come by? You can. You should be in it.
The thing starts at 7.
Oh, it's at 7.
Yeah.
Oh, well then we have plenty of time then.
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. We're going to be there at 7?
By 7, yes. Mom already has the tickets, by the way.
The ticket. Okay, good. Yeah. And then, so do we really want to show up on time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sounds well, because we're just there to see Willow.
Yeah, we'll just,
That's it.
Yeah.
But of course, we won't know till we get there when she's going to be on. All right, fine. We'll be there. We'll be there on time. But let's be there a little early so we can get good seats.
Yay.
Okay. My 14-year-old daughter is in a play. Is it Shrek?
Alice in Wonderland.
It's Alice in Wonderland, and she's a witch?
She's the Mad Hatter.
She's the Mad Hatter. Okay, I thought she was a witch in the thing. But she was a witch in Shrek too, right? All right. So Kill Team and Warcry, haven't played much of them. Necromunda, I would add to that list. I think they're great. They're getting long-term support. The models are great. The systems have been refined. It's easy to get all the rules. And in a way, Kill Team is really what you should just be playing. If 40K is too much, there you go. All right, well, those are my comments on that. So, guys, I have some plugs here. You're the fans. You're the ones that stayed. And because you'll notice this channel has 46,000 subscribers. And by the way, it just loses subscribers. And I think that's why I don't get very much attention from the algorithm anymore. I don't care. But the algorithm will be like, burp, beep, burp. Anomaly detected, said he doesn't care. Burp, burp. And that's how I imagine the bots sound. So, what was I going to say? But I still get like 200 to 400 views on just any old bollocks that I put up there. And then some of the other ones get between 1,000 and 2,000, basically what they used to get. So I know the fans are out there. I know the exposure could be right. So time to get off the bench, to do a project, buy something from the web store, subscribe to my Patreon. I mean, come on, make yourself useful. And I don't need it. You need it. It's good. I put a lot out there. I have a lot of enthusiasm. I'm articulate. I can talk about a lot of different topics. And also, I got the whole thing where multiple projects a week are coming through here. There's always something interesting to look at. And now I have yet something else, which is my role-playing thing, which, by the way, is also a miniatures battles game. So I guess that's my next step. I need to do some battle reports with Ilans. The system is technically called Elsewhere, but that hasn't tested well in the focus groups. In fact, it's tested very poorly in the focus groups. So maybe you can give me some feedback on that. Is the system name, is there something to the system name, or should I change it to something else? So yeah. All right, well, I got a few minutes. Yeah, maybe one. So Illanz, E-L-L-A-N-Z, that comes from a document and map that I made when I was about 15 years old. And when I took it out, I'm like, oh, I'm going to base it off of this. And of course, I had written tons about it. I had done tons of campaigns. And oh yeah, that's time. All right, thanks for tuning in.